Hello students, welcome to the YouTube channel of nextias. I am Anil Tiwari and I am here again with another session of daily news analysis. Today we have picked 4 articles in the prelims section. The first article is the recent train hijacking by the Balochistan Liberation Army in Pakistan. We will look at a lot of locations and the Balochistan province for your prelims perspective. The second article relates to the Starlink project, or let's say the internet through satellite by Elon Musk, and the agreement between Jio, Airtel and Starlink. The third article relates to the arrest of Duterte in Philippines by ICC, International Criminal Court. We will look at International Criminal Court and the International Court of Justice and compare them. The last article in prelim section will be related to the Nicobar Project, where we are developing a mega project, but there are certain concerns regarding environmental issues. In the prelims section, these 4 articles will be covered. In the main section, we will be covering very important the gaming industry in India and the issues associated with gaming industry. We will look at the world scenario in this industry and the importance in that lies in future. So stay tuned and let us jump into our discussion. All right. So the first article is relating to the train hijacking by the Balochistan Liberation Army in Pakistan. This happened on 11th March and around 400-500 passengers were held hostage by these militants, these nationalists in Balochistan, and by newspaper reports, this have been basically rescued, and all the hostages have been rescued. Some people died, sadly, and the militants were killed. So let us look deeply into this, and the relevance, or let's say the syllabus for which this will be important, is issues of international importance and specifically the locations in news. So for us it is very important because UPSC in prelims ask a lot of questions from locations, and wherever there is a civil war or a militant activity is going on, be it Houthis or in the Sudan area or in the Ukraine, so UPSC tend to ask question regarding these militants, the organizations, and also the locations. So it is very important for us. Now, militant attacked this Jafar Express on March 11, and they held hostage. They had certain conditions on which they will release these hostages or else they will kill. It was run by the Balochistan Liberation Army, that is a liberation front, designated terrorist organization by the US and banned by Pakistan. And we will look at the history of this BLA in a while. And this happened when the Jafar Express were traveling from Quetta to Peshawar in the Bolan area. When you hear the Bolan area, you should think about the Bolan Pass. So when it comes to the Indian subcontinent, it is surrounded by sea from the bottom, and at the top we have Himalayas, and then there we have Hindu Kush mountains in the western northwest side. But we have 2 passes. One is Khyber Pass in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province in the Pakistan, and then we have Bolan Pass. These 2 passes have been very important historically for people from the main land, or let's say land to access India by land routes. So this incident happened in the Bolan area of Balochistan. That's why it is important for us to study this location. So a little bit about this BLA, this militant group who are trying to basically represent and argue for the local people in Balochistan, because this province is one of the largest province in Pakistan, but it is the least populated province and one of the most marginalized province of Pakistan. That's why there is a lot of resistance. And also remember that the CPEC, that is China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, passes through Balochistan, and the Gwadar port, one of the most important port in this CPEC, is in Balochistan. And there have been many incidences regarding the attack on Chinese nationals that are working on this CPEC project, on the Pakistan state and army which are occupying this territory, and the exploitation, the kidnapping of many people, as they say, they basically abduct these people and they are gone forever. So all these political activists from Balochistan have been arrested by Pakistan army and the state. For release of those militants and politicians from Balochistan, these people have basically hijacked this train, and that was their most important demand. So this Balochistan Liberation Army came in being in 2000s, and they want independence of Balochistan from Pakistan, and Pakistan obviously banned this organization in 2006, and the United States declared it as a terrorist organization in 2019. And the attack was carried out by one of the factions in this BLA, that is named as Majid Brigade. It is a suicide squad. You know, Fidaini or suicide squad. They basically go in, go on a mission, suicide squad, where they will are sure that they will die. And a little bit about Balochistan. You can see in the map of the Pakistan that it is one of the largest province, and there are 4 provinces in Pakistan: Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Balochistan, Sindh, and Punjab. It is one of the province. It is annexed by Pakistan in 1948, after 6 months after the partition of Pakistan, the bloody partition. And this province has a long history of marginalization, and it has witnessed several separatist movements throughout its history. It is very rich in resources. Remember, a lot of coal comes from Balochistan. A lot of other minerals, very important minerals, also come from Balochistan. And Pakistan is giving away this province to China for major development projects, and the people are not being participated in this benefit are coming out of the land. The major languages are Baluchi, Barhawi, Pashto, and Sindhi, and it borders Afghanistan and Iran. Moving ahead, there are 3 tribes, major tribes: Baloch, Barvi, and Pashtuns. You know, Pashtuns, they live throughout the border with Afghanistan, and there are major issues with this tribe because they have a relation with through both sides of the border. So in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, that northwest frontier province, there are issues. Recently, there have been many attacks and things going on. So if we talk about the geography of this area, then we have Kharan Desert and Chagai Desert. Both are known for Pakistan nuclear tests. And then we have longest river, that is Hingol River. So a river passes through this area of Balochistan, deposited its water in Arabian Sea. We have Gwadar Port, which I have discussed earlier, and then we have Bolan Pass. This connects the Punjab and Sindh province, Afghanistan, through Balochistan. So basically, it was a gateway for India. We have Mehergarh, that is very important site. Now I'll give you a question. What is that one thing for which Mehergarh is known? It is a site from Chalcolithic period, that is Indus Valley Civilization, Saraswati Sindhu Sabhata, and from which, for what this Mehergarh site is known. Now there is another question, practice question on this article. Try and submit your answer in the comment section. Now the second article is related to the Starlink project by Elon Musk and the SpaceX organization in the United States of America. Recently we have Bharti Airtel and Reliance Jio have signed a deal with SpaceX. So far, SpaceX Starlink was not working in India. There have been certain allegations by people in India that the Manipur basically militants were using Starlink internet connection to use for themselves, but those have been debunked. But now we have a agreement between these 2 big companies from India and Starlink. This is connected to your general science topic in your syllabus. What is, now you'll ask a question, what is this satellite internet? So you use a mobile phone, or let's say you use a laptop and you have a LAN wire connection. You have a set-top box in your house that provides you internet connection. A wire comes into your house and connects to this set-top box, and then your mobile phones and devices are connected to this Wi-Fi. Starlink is completely different. Starlink says that you do not need a wire connection to come through. You do not need a fiber connection. You need basically an equipment, an antenna, just like DTH, this direct to home service which you see in your houses, Tata Sky or any other product which you are using. Similarly, you will have an antenna that will directly connect to satellite, and you will get internet connection, high speed internet connection directly from the internet provider. So this is satellite system. It is a wireless connection directly provided by the satellite. You do not need fiber optics to beam. You do not need towers. You do not need anything. Further, there are 2 types. One is the low Earth orbit satellite system, in which this Starlink and OneWeb is working. And then there is geostationary orbit satellites. So these geostationary orbits are there. So if you see this map, this diagram below, then we have very low lying Earth orbit they are around 500, 600, 700 kilometers. This is LEO, low Earth orbits. And then we have middle Earth orbits, and then we have high Earth orbits and geostationary orbits. So geostationary orbits are around the equator, where the satellite is always fixed at one position. They are very high, around 27,000, 26,000 kilometers ahead above the Earth. But the low Earth orbits are very low, and that is very 500, 600 kilometers. The Starlink is around 540 or 600 kilometers range, and this is launched by SpaceX. Basically, it is launched in 2019, and they are planning to launch around 42,000 small satellites. They are very ready made, they are mass produced, and we are trying to launch them, and then we will make a ring of them, so that every time they pass through, every satellite always looking at somebody at one point of time. So presently we only have around 7,000 satellites in the low Earth orbit, altitudes under 2,000 kilometers. These are called LEO. By the end of 2024, we will have more than 6.4 million users over 100 countries using Starlink, around 46 lakhs, and speed up to 220 Mbps in the US. Then we have cost. This is major issue regarding this satellite system, because monthly it will cost around $120. You multiply that by 90. It will be very costly for Indians to afford it. Secondly, the equipment that are required for you to buy in order to use this internet are around 340, $350. That is very costly. So India, its usability will be very much of a question in India. But there are a lot of benefits regarding this Starlink. What we will get out of this Starlink project, if it comes to India? You will get basically any time internet access, no matter what happens. बिजली नहीं है, लाइट नहीं है, भूकंप आ गया, बाढ़ आ गई, whatever is there, टावर काम नहीं कर रहे, doesn't matter. You are in a remote location, you are on mountains, so the users for this Starlink project will be very specific. Let's say you go to Himachal, let's say you go to Badrinath, very specific position where internet is not accessible, then you can buy this Starlink, and then you can get internet access. So very disaster resilience communication. Recently we have seen Turkey Syrian earthquake was there in 2023, and that Starlink there provided emergency basically provisions. Then we have bridging digital divide, because people will have access to internet. Then we have strategic defense communication. For example, in Ukraine this happened. And then we have alternative to traditional ISPs, and competition will be increased, and it will support the emerging technologies like AI, Internet of Things, your fridge, your TV, everything will be connected through this Starlink internet. But there are challenges. For example, astronomical interferences are there, so you can observe the stars around the Earth, or let's say in galaxies, but these satellites will come in between, because there are 42,000 satellites, so there may be astronomical interferences. Then we have high cost of launching, using, and then billing, and everything is very high cost. Then we have space debris, issue of space debris. Imagine one piece from one of these 42,000 satellites spinning around in the Earth and damaging one of the bigger satellites. That will be a challenge. Then we have environmental concerns, because so many satellites we are launching, and then we will have used a lot of rocket fuel to launch all these satellites. Then we have regulatory concerns. For example, different countries have different regulations regarding satellites, and then recently India was facing certain challenges regarding this. So there are these kind of challenges. Now I'll give you a practice question. Try to attempt this question. Submit your answer in the comment section below, and we will jump to the next article. This article is very important for your prelims preparation, because there are two organizations which are very important. That is International Court of Criminal Court, and then International Court of Justice. So you have Supreme Court in India, you have high courts in India, district courts which punish people and which punish organizations also. Everybody they can punish. But what will happen if, let's say, a country commits a crime, or let's say a great big leader commits a crime and nobody can hold them, let's say on account. Imagine like North Korea, Kim Jong-un. Who is going to punish in North Korea? He will kill anybody. He can do whatever he wants to do. No court in North Korea can judge him. So what can be done? So we can have international courts which will look after all these issues. So there is International Criminal Court, which looks after individuals who are committing bigger crimes. We will look at what crimes they are looking at. First and foremost, what is the relevance of this news? The relevance is that international organizations are very important, and the context is that yes, Philippines president, that is Duterte, has been arrested, or let's say held by International Criminal Court For what? They have murder as a crime against humanity. Charges of murder, crime against humanity. For this, they have arrested this President Rodrigo Duterte. Now, in Philippines, Duterte ran a campaign that is called War on Drugs. So he wanted the drugs to go away from Philippines. What he did to do this, he basically arrested a lot of people, killed a lot of people, as we have mentioned that they killed 6,000 suspects, just gunned them down. So this is a major human rights violation, because without giving people a chance to prove themselves, prove their innocence, because whenever we arrest somebody, we assume that they are not guilty until proven so. So that has been an issue. Now, this International Criminal Court, how this court has been established or what it is important for prelims. This is headquartered in Hague, Netherlands. It is established in 1998, July 17, and it is established under Rome Statute. And the objective is to end impunity for the perpetrators of the most serious crimes of concerns to the international community. The structure and functioning is such that they have 18 judges elected by the member states. There are around 120 member states, and they elect these 18 judges for 9 years on non-renewable terms. Most important, let's say, notable members are Britain, Japan, and Afghanistan. What crimes do they investigate? They investigate war crimes. They investigate crime against humanity. Recently, we have seen Putin was basically put on charge on this in this court, and crime against humanity, Duterte, genocide, and crime of aggression. If anybody do aggression, let's say Russia is aggressing towards Ukraine, this can be considered as a crime. Then genocide, let's say what happened in World War II, this can be considered as a genocide also. Then what is the jurisdiction and limitation on this court? So it can intervene on the country that are unwilling or unable to prosecute certain people, and they cannot prosecute nations. This court cannot prosecute nations. This can only prosecute individuals, but this does not have any policing authority the way Supreme Court or High Court has. It relies on other countries for arrest, freezing assets, and enforcing sentences. It also requires these crimes must be committed in the Rome Statute member country or by citizen of the member country. So 125 countries are there. Out of these 125 countries, they can prosecute. Otherwise, they cannot. Can also take up cases referred by UN Security Council. There is International Court of Justice, a very similar organization but very different organization under United Nations. So International Criminal Court is not under United Nations but endorsed by United Nations. But under United Nations, there is International Court of Justice. So it is headquartered again in the Peace Palace in Hague, the Netherlands. It is established in 1945, very old organization, a principal judicial organ of the United Nations. It settles dispute between nations, not individuals, and provides advisory opinion on legal questions referred to by United Nations bodies. Only here dispute when requested by states. It cannot go on its own, although ICC can go on its own. And it is the only international court that settles dispute between UN member states. Any UN member can file against any other member on the global interests. And what is the composition of this court? This court is 15 judges elected by the 9-year terms by the members based on nationality, and they do not although represent the nationality, but only one nationality can be elected for, let's say, 9 years. Only one judge per nationality can be elected. There is a difference between ICC and ICJ. Look at this table. So they prosecute nations, they prosecute individuals, and it is a UN principal body. It is not. It is independent body, and both are situated in The Hague, Netherlands. There is a question on this topic. Solve this question. Submit your answer in the comment section. We will look at the last topic in this prelim section, that is Nicobar project. This is very important project, first of all, but there are so many environmental issues with regarding this project. Right now, it is important that you know the locations because the project is still underway. It will get developed and it will come up. But as of now, the UPSC prelims 2025, this location can come in your question. So, Union Tribal Minister has said in Rajya Sabha that nobody has any dispute or, let's say, issue regarding this project, and it will come in your environment and ecology section of your syllabus, and also come in your places in news part of the syllabus. what is this project? In short, if I talk about this project, is a major project to develop this island, this Great Nicobar Island, in holistic manner. All kinds of infrastructure, airport, fuel station, let's say solar-based electricity generation plant. Then we have roads, and everything is being projected in this thing. And the budget is around 81,000 crore. Very big project. And there are other components also, environmental protection components also, like they have wildlife conservation, compensatory afforestation, then they have tribal welfare plans, they have conservation steps and mitigation measures. There are a lot of green projects are also there in these projects. And but there is an issue of the power plant in the Galathea Bay. That's becoming a contentious issue, because Galathea Bay is very important bay in this region. If you can see the map, it is located at the south part of the Great Nicobar area. Why so much opposition to this project? There is so much opposition because, see, the project is being implemented in a very sensitive area. We will look at some facts. Okay, opinion can be there, but let us look at some facts. So around 10 lakh trees, 1 million trees will be felled. So no matter how much afforestation you do, but if you fell trees in a forested area, those trees are very different than you are planting trees somewhere else. Then we have wildlife impact. So this Galathea Bay is very important for giant leatherback turtle. This is vulnerable species, threatened species, that is giant leatherback turtle. Then we have Nicobar megapod, that is also endemic to this area, and it will be at risk. Further, we have protected areas that are being affected. If you see here, in January 2021, the government denotified Galathea Bay and Megaport wildlife sanctuaries. So there were wildlife sanctuaries, then government denotified them. And this is also contradictory to the National Marine Turtle Action Plan, in which the Galathea Bay is a vital marine turtle habitat for what? For giant leatherback turtle. So this is an issue. That's why this opposition is there. Let's see regarding the tribal issues there, because there are so many tribes that are very untouched. If you have heard about the Sentinelese in the Sentinel Island, Shompins are there, then Nicobarese are there. There are so many unique tribes are there that will be affected. So many of these islands have been identified as uninhabited, because during the tsunami in the 2000s, these areas have been vacated by these tribals because of the danger. Now government has notified them as uninhabited. So this is an issue. Then we have Shompin. They are exposed to many diseases, because many outsiders, when they go there, they bring a lot of pathogens with them, and these pathogens are new to these tribes. They do not have immunity to these pathogens, and they may fall prey to such diseases. And some settlements are also, Shompin settlements are also overlapping with this project, so they will be desettled. And then we have seismic and disaster risk, because it comes under Zone 5. This ring of fire is there. In this ring of fire, this Great Nicobar is also coming. And then we have local governance concerns. So the local panchayat has also issued, basically it's their dissatisfaction with this acquisition. And then we have no social impact assessment that should happen when you are implementing such a great project. So lack of social impact assessment is also there. Then we have Andaman and Nicobar Island location as an important issue for your prelims perspective. So location is basically 6 degree north to 13 degree north, and 92 degree east to 94 degree east. So this is the map, you can look at it, and it is around 1300 kilometers away from our mainland. The archipelago also divided into two different islands. One is the Andaman Islands, we call it Andaman and Nicobar Island. The other is the Nicobar Island, and they are separated by what degree channel? 10 degree channel. This is important. These two islands are separated by 10 degree channel. Now further about this island, there are three major groups in the Andaman Island. There is North Andaman, Middle Andaman and South Andaman. The capital city is Port Blair. The Nicobar Island is also subdivided into three groups. That is Northern, Central and Southern group. The Great Nicobar is the largest and the southernmost island. The Great Nicobar is the southernmost and the largest island group, located in the southern side of the islands. And India's southernmost point, that is Indira Point, is also located on the Great Nicobar Island. What are the other features? There are other features like most of these islands are of volcanic base, meaning that there were volcanoes in way past, and the rocks that are forming these islands are majorly sandstone, tertiary sandstone, limestone, and shale. And then the barren and Narcondam islands are volcanic islands still there in the Andaman Nicobar Islands. We have some islands that are fringed with coral reefs. Corals are also there, but they are not of coral origins. Remember, corals are there. Coral origin के नहीं है, they volcanic origin के हैं. Then we have Saddle Peak as the highest peak, that is around 737 kilometers, or sorry, meters high in the Andaman Nicobar Islands. Then we have latest news regarding change of names. So there were 3 islands: Ross Island, Neil Islands, and Havelock Islands, which name were changed to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Dweep, Shahid Deep, and Swaraj Deep respectively. If we look at the communities in the Great Nicobar Islands, then we have basically the location is Great Nicobar is the southernmost tip of, as we have discussed, of India, and around 600 islands are there. The hilly island is there are so many rainforests in this area. There are so many new species. UPSC has asked a question from a banana species. The banana species were discovered in this area only. So it is very diverse. There are so many species like giant leatherback turtle, there is Nicobar megapod, there is Great Nicobar crake, then we have Nicobar crab eating macaque. This macaque is very important. Then we have Nicobar tree shrew. All these things are very important in this location. Then we have 910 square kilometer with mangroves and pandan forest. Remember this pandan forest, this is very important because this is a unique forest found in this area. So there are special kind of trees and shrubs that are found in coastal areas, and they dominate one particular area. That particular area is known as pandan forest. We have Shompen, we have Nicobaris. These two groups, Shompens are PBTGs. Now in comment section you tell me what are the criteria for a tribe to be declared as PBTG, and who declares, and how many PBTGs are there, because this is a PYQ. So how many PBTGs are there, who declares it, on what ground they are declared. And these two tribes speak very distinct dialects among each other. So with saying that, try and solve this question on this article, and we will jump into our mains discussion. The article is this gaming sector in India. So the mains article is relating to the gaming sector in India, the e-sports sector in India. You all know in 2026-27 this Olympic is going to happen in Riyadh, and the International Olympic Committee has already decided that e-sports will be part of the Olympics. So in that light, what government is doing, or let's say what are the issues and challenges faced by the gaming industry in India, this article is very important because this came at a time when India can look for not only just developing this new sunrise sector, but also to create a lot of jobs, because this sector involves a lot of youth. This sector can initiate a tournament like IPL. This sector can become a really good place for the young generation to showcase their talents and then become a great industry. So having said that, this particular sector will come in your GS3 in the Indian economy part, and then GS4 your ethics, integrity and aptitude, where the individual let's say the impact of social things or things around a person on their psychological and other well-being. And the backdrop is that online skill-based gaming has the potential to harness programming, design and storytelling talents to leapfrog India to the top of the tech leaderboard globally. Moving further, we have seen 2 PYQs have appeared in this regard. There are many other PYQs also, but these PYQs are relating to the digitalization of Indian economy, and then it is also relating to the current internet expansion and the cultural impact of that expansion on India. So having looked at the PYQs, let's see what is the status of gaming industry around the world. So if you look at globally, then it is one of the major sunrise sector globally. Also after the pandemic, it emerged in the 2000s when the PC and the gaming consoles, the PS1, PS2 and PCs become cheap, and then it boomed up. So there were a lot of games that came out, a lot of development took place. But after COVID, because of the lockdown and everything, this industry really boomed. Mobile gaming became famous, and then other gamings also became famous. As per the IBEF report, in 2023, based on number of users and app downloads, India was the biggest market for online gaming, with 568 million gamers and 9.5 billion gaming app downloads. This is in 2023 by IBEF. Around the world, if you look at this fact that I have mentioned, that the Olympic e-sport games will be there in the Riyadh Olympics in the 2027. Further, if you look at the PwC's report, Global Entertainment and Media Outlook 2022-26 report, then it says that it is worth expected to be rise to 321 billion dollars. Do you know how much GDP is of Pakistan? It is around 300 billion. So the gaming industry itself will be larger than the GDP of one of the neighboring countries. So you can imagine how big this industry is going to be. But right now, China is one of the largest country when it comes to revenue generating through online gaming. You all know all these big companies from China that are creating a lot of games because we are banning them day in and day out. So, but US is also a big player, Japan is also a big player. So there are so many games which you know, famous games, they all come from these countries, not from India. So, but in India, we have a lot of potential because right now it is around 33,000 crore industry. This can be 66,000 crore, just double by 2023-2028, this 5 years, by with CAGR of 14.5% growth rate. So it is a sunrise sector, and it can add additional 2 to 3 direct and indirect lakh jobs. And it is very important. It has already added these many jobs. It can further add so many jobs. And it is also estimated that AI and online gaming can add up to $300 billion to India's GDP. Remember, not just online gaming, AI also included. So AI and online gaming to India's GDP, they can add at $300 billion. Further, it says that India can emerge as a formidable player in the gaming sector because of our youth, because of our young generation and tech savviness of this young generation. And basically we have to transform the narrative regarding this gaming industry. And as far as we know, that we have around 692 million internet users, and we have second largest user base when it comes to internet, and rank 8th in the mobile app usage. These are big numbers. And we have average daily of 4.9 hours, a rise of 32% since 2019. What all these things tell us? They tell us that we have a lot of potential. Imagine you have a land that is very let's say fertile. You are not cultivating a crop on it, but you know that the land is very fertile. So that you have to keep in mind. And there are some government initiatives, not so promising, but there are some initiatives. That is, one initiative is Digital Gaming Research Initiative, in which we are thinking of doing some research in order to promote gaming in India. And then we have AVGC, that is Animation, Visual Effect, Gaming and Comic Promotion Task Force. Its job is to basically promote this sector, and by 2025, India has potential to hold around 5% of the global market in the AVGC sector. What are the legislations and regulations in India that are controlling this sector? So 1867 Act, that is Public Gambling Act, controls the gambling side of these games, and the IT Act, that is Information Technology Act, basically governs the gaming industry overall. And section 66 of the IT Act deals with the crimes related to computers, whereas section 67, 67A, 67B deal with the discretion to make laws on the subject of online gaming, because gambling and betting are mentioned in the state list in the constitution. Then we have Ministry of Electronics and Technology, that has introduced new set of guidelines for the gaming industry in India, and also they are planning to establish multiple self-regulatory organizations. That is, that industry will have its own regulatory mechanism in order to basically curtail anything that is unethical and illegal in this sector. But we can see there are certain challenges. Very first challenge that I would want to talk about, you can also think about it, that there will be ethical challenges. There are so many ethical challenges because these platforms, these gaming platforms, they promote a lot of things that are not considered ethical. Also, there are issues like privacy, there are issues of data security, there are issues of mental illness, suicides, because blue whale challenge is there, then there are many tensions that go around a house or a home where children are basically engrossed in mobile gaming day in and day out. The parents are basically struggling them to go out and play, then do physical activities, involved with the family things, and then these children become very aggressive also. There are concerns in USA that all these violent games, they promote gun violence in America. It is not an issue in India, but it can become an issue in India. And must have seen a lot of news regarding a lot of fraud, cyber fraud regarding gaming. Then there are economical challenges like money laundering, because these gaming platform can become a platform for money laundering and national security. So that for this reason only that we have banned a lot of games in India. And then we have digital divide between rural and urban India. That is also an issue, because the urban India again will have a larger share of this pie. And then we have we have other challenges like regulatory challenges. So there is no mechanism to differentiate between skill based legitimate gaming platform and illegal gambling platform. We do not have that mechanism. Then we have illegal offshore gambling fuels financial malpractices. So there are these issues, because a lot of digital transaction takes place on these gaming sites. Then we have 100 billion per annum that is being deposited and received from these offshore companies. We have some way ahead, some way forward for this sector. We can see that we can establish a centralized regulatory framework that can work. This is all according to this article. We can have a centralized regulatory mechanism. Then we can co-craft regulatory framework with the industry and the government. We can collaborate, both of us can collaborate. Then we can define clearly what are game of skills and what are game of chance, basically gambling versus technical skill based games. And also we need to rationalize the taxation also, because right now we have 28% GST. That is a rate that is imposed on the gambling sites. So 28% GST is not reasonable as per this article. We should reduce this, because there are games which are definitely based out of skills, not based out of, let's say, chance. Then we have ethical measures that we can take. We can basically develop infrastructure to protect youth from getting addicted to these games. Then also we can do that. We can protect excessive use of these games by parental control. We can have software solutions to all this. Then we can have individually customized safeguards on these platforms. Having discussed all way forward, government initiative, issues, challenges, data, facts and everything, I would want you to write a question on this particular area, because I think this area can come up in your question in paper UPSC mains this year. So have this question for yourself, try and attempt it. Good luck and happy Holi to all of you, because this might be our video before Holi, and then we will join you back after Holi. So enjoy this Holi, be safe, do not harm animals, please do not harm animals, and play full-heartedly, play Holi with your friends, families, go out, enjoy, eat good food, but avoid chemical colors, apply chemical colors to others, and be safe, and do not involve in any illegal substance abuse. We from nextias team, DNA team, the whole family of nextias, we wish you and your family a very happy Holi. Thank you.